What is good, guys? Regular Joe here, and I am here with a quick video. I literally have 25 minutes before I have to be into work, so it's gonna be quick. Okay, so it might be a little all over the place, but just bear with me. We're gonna talk about who's going to be the Rock's champion, who's going to sell their soul, and you know what? I posted the thumbnail on Friday night immediately after SmackDown because I had this thought immediately because Cody Rhodes is not going to be the type to sell his soul. I mean, he didn't sell his soul for AEW. He didn't sell his soul to, continue in WWE. He was willing to leave and make things happen on his own. Cody Rhodes has those morals basically, right? So, with that being said, we know Cody's not going to turn heel. We're not going to get Homelander Cody or any of that, right? But we are going to look at three people. That's right, three. We're not just talking about CM Punk and John Cena in this video because I know that's everyone's theory, and that was my initial theory. I don't know why I had a brush in my hand. That was my initial theory as well. But there's a third person no one's talking about, and if we learned anything this WrestleMania season, at least, the general IWC who considered Jey Uso a swerve to win the Royal Rumble, it's very possible everyone is leaving out the most likely candidate in the Elimination Chamber who's going to sell out. So real quick, let's just look at the lay of the land here. We have Drew McIntyre, John Cena, CM Punk, Damian Priest, Seth Rollins, and Logan Paul. Now we know Damian Priest, who just recently turned babyface, he's not gonna be the one to do it. They're trying to get him over, similar to how Big Dog Roman Reigns was, and I hope things work out for Damian better than they worked out for Roman, at least in terms of the fanfare. Then we have Drew McIntyre. We know Drew McIntyre has beef with Roman Reigns and the entire bloodline, so the probability of him taking on The Rock's offer, pretty close to zero. But then we look at a guy like Seth Rollins, who has a history of doing what's best for him. But also, I really can't see that happening just based on the fact that he also looks to be gearing up to take Roman Reigns on at WrestleMania, whether it's in a one-on-one or a triple threat match as speculated. So naturally, that leaves us with CM Punk and John Cena. Now, we know both men have histories with The Rock in their own right. We have seen John Cena and The Rock come together in a positive light on screen, and that kind of changes the dynamic between them. Hell, John Cena saved The Rock at WrestleMania 32. Now, I did put out a video on TikTok, and I might have uploaded the short here on YouTube. If I didn't, I will later today. I think John Cena putting himself in the Elimination Chamber, you could kind of connect the dots that say John Cena and The Rock could be working behind the scenes together, and John Cena is The Rock's plan B. Now, in this video, I did say that John Cena appears to be developing some heel tendencies, right? Some selfish tendencies, which is very unusual for John Cena. He kind of, after losing the Royal Rumble, inserted himself in the Elimination Chamber without really earning it, and kind of almost went heel saying, I am going to be shooting a movie for those people who want to talk crap. I'll be in, I forget what country he said he's going to be in, but he's not going to be in the US, so he's giving himself the Elimination Chamber spot, and he's going to give the other competitors 5 or 6 weeks to get ready for him, and blah, 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 blah. That is not something John Cena would ordinarily do. But I did say in that video, John Cena was flirting with heel tendencies and he was going to eventually see the light again. Kind of just to give the fans what they've been asking for, which is like a heelish John Cena. Because I really can't see them fully turning Cena heel the entirety of his final year in the company. Although it would be a hell of a thing to do. Just think of Hollywood Hulk Hogan. So that would definitely add some intrigue to the John Cena storyline. It would give some variance. Everyone's pretty much prepping for a wishy-washy version of John Cena. I don't think everybody wants to see that. But now with the development of this storyline with The Rock and Cody Rhodes, that was very all over the place, by the way, on SmackDown. The Rock was heel, then he was cutting babyface lines, and he was back to heel again. I don't know. He was all over the place. It could have just been the tequila. I don't know. But I could see a world where John Cena does go heel for at least maybe 2-3 months and then realizes this is not who he is and then comes back to the babyface John Cena for the summertime. Now, the other person that everyone keeps talking about is CM Punk. Now, as we know, CM Punk and The Rock had a very rocky history. CM Punk has been on record as stating that The Rock does things very Hollywood, and he invited him to do like a rehearsal type situation, or just talk about what they're gonna do in their storyline when The Rock took the belt off of CM Punk that year at Royal Rumble. And while they seem to be okay now, there was a time where CM Punk appear to genuinely hate The Rock. Now, with that being said, though, things change, and we are now, 10, 11 years after the fact, where The Rock kind of was the final straw that broke the camel's back and sent CM Punk packing. How crazy would it be if they now flipped those roles, and then CM Punk, who seems to be so desperate for a WrestleMania main event, which that's basically been his story since returning, right? He needs to main event WrestleMania. What if CM Punk realizes time is of the essence and he's running out of years, similar to John Cena, although John Cena is in his final year. So similar to John Cena's quest for number 17, what if CM Punk is so desperate to get into the WrestleMania main event that he sells out and sells his soul? I mean, I find it hard to believe that they would also turn CM Punk heel, just based on the fact that he's so loved. But CM Punk is one of those guys that even as a heel, he's probably going to get cheered. So in his case, he could have his cake and eat it too. I really can't see anyone disliking CM Punk at this stage in his career. But how crazy would it be at Elimination Chamber if The Rock and Paul Heyman somehow conjure up a plan to get CM Punk to win the Elimination Chamber? CM Punk is owed a favor by Paul Heyman, so imagine he cashes in like this. But the other person that nobody is talking about here, and it makes perfect sense, at least in terms of, it makes perfect sense on a lot of levels, such as like business, for example, and just the natural progression of this storyline, and actually using a heel to do this. But what if they turned Logan Paul into the corporate champion? Now, believe me, I know The Rock and Logan Paul have some turmoil in their history. The Rock and Logan Paul did some videos back, I can't even give you the year, but it was before Logan Paul did the whole Japan thing, and The Rock had his people reach out and apparently request that Logan Paul take all the videos down and all that other stuff, and Logan Paul appeared to take that very personally. The Rock didn't want to damage his brand being attached to Logan Paul, who did what he did in Japan. For those of you who don't know, you can just Google search it. And it kind of left a bad taste in Logan Paul's mouth. But with Logan Paul declaring that he's going to be a full-time wrestler and all this other stuff, and his goal is the WWE Championship, what better way? And look, no one's ever going to like Logan Paul. Let's just put it that way. No one is ever going to like Logan Paul. No one's ever going to support him to be champion. So why put a chink in John Cena or CM Punk's armor when you could just get Logan Paul to continue to being Logan Paul, and he ends up with The Rock? I mean, think about it. All the crybabies on the IWC who absolutely can't stand The Rock, apparently, which is crazy because I was at WrestleMania and everybody cheered him. So I want to know where those Twitter voices were coming from. I personally feel like it's the minority of wrestling fans who don't appreciate The Rock. I think the majority of people wanted to see Rock and Roman, tie up last year at WrestleMania 40. But, whatever. It's neither here nor there. We still had a great WrestleMania 40. With that being said, though, could you imagine the crowd reaction if The Rock actually helped Logan Paul come out on top of Elimination Chamber and fully hitched his wagon to the Logan Paul bandwagon? I mean, the hate would be like beyond generational. It would absolutely supersede anything we've probably ever seen before, especially if they put a belt on Logan Paul. It wouldn't even have to be at WrestleMania. They could put a belt on Logan Paul at any point in history, and the crowd reaction would be absolutely disgusted. I know what you're saying. Why does Logan Paul deserve the championship and blah, 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 blah. Personally, I don't think he does, and I hate the idea of it. But what if you use Logan Paul to build up another babyface to hit those Cody Rhodes levels? At that point, we'd really be getting back to the Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin levels, where we had two gigantic baby faces for the industry. And I know Vince McMahon at one point stated he never wanted to have WWE ride on the coattails of one big superstar. Well, Vince McMahon's not here anymore, and I think with The Rock and Triple H's thinking, I think they'd be okay with that. I think they'd be okay with creating, one or two, maybe three absolute megastars, because all it does is inflate their bottom line anyway in terms of merch and everything else. I feel like Vince McMahon's thinking behind that was he would never be able to be held for ransom, essentially, if his biggest star that he created ended up, trying to leverage, say, AEW versus WWE in a contract negotiation and things like that. He never wanted anyone to be bigger than WWE, but I don't think The Rock and Triple H feel that way, or Nick Khan for that matter. I mean, think about it. We have Tribal Chief Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes running around. So what if they could prep the next big babyface to overthrow Logan Paul and this corporate champion mantra thing that The Rock has going on, or he's trying to rehash? Like, he's really digging in his bag in the 90s for this one. I'm talking like Stone Cold and Vince McMahon. So anyway, let me know what you guys think. I have about 5 minutes before I can get to work here. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think Logan Paul is actually... does he make sense for this role? Or maybe you think John Cena or CM Punk are the ones who sell their soul. Or shit, maybe you think we are getting Homelander Cody. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Call your shot now. We're roughly 2 months before WrestleMania, so really anything could happen. But let me know in the comments, and please make sure you like and subscribe and do all that good social media stuff. I'm going to be late to work. I'm out, guys.